We review this week's Town Council meeting on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, March 20th, 2015. I'm Sarah Colvin. Town Council says yes to a number of grant and gift requests and approves a zoning change along Route 132. Before the orders of the day, Town Manager Tom Lynch made remarks to Council. He praised the Youth Commission for its work on the youth.
Before I begin with the remarks that I sent out based on the outline of my Town Manager communications, I would like to give a tip of the hat to Councilor Cullum and each of you for the efforts that you've made supporting the Youth Council, the Barnstable Youth Council. We were all at that event just a little while ago. It was very uplifting. I was so impressed with the way the students have taken control of this, and really, I think tomorrow when it's peer talking to peer, it's going to make a huge difference in the way we are addressing the opiate and addiction issues in our community. So I'll give you a round of applause. I thought it was very, very well done.
Cape Cod Commission Executive Director Paul Niedzwiecki and Deputy Director Patty Daly address the council next.
So when we look at Barnstable and Hyannis specifically, and especially those retail areas out there, they are of unique importance in the regional economy. So we should be providing regulation or streamlining regulation or removing regulation to provide an incentive for the kind of redevelopment that we want to see out there that we know will be beneficial for the community. And so that's really the end point that we'd like to get to, is an alignment of local zoning and regional regulation strategies that do that lessen the burden and get the kind of development that we all want and need. So when we started the project in 2013, it had two parts. And the first part was really to talk to the four major parties that control and operate the facilities out there at those four major parcels, being the Cape Cod Mall parcel, the Kmart Plaza across from that, Southwinds, where the new Whole Foods and the Home Depot are, and the Festival Mall, where PetSmart, Home Goods, and Shaw's are. So those are four major retail plazas. We talked to the people that control all of those interests out there now, and we got some feedback from them on what their plans were. And it was really interesting and quite informative, in that I think a lot of these people don't really know where retail is going, how the internet's going to impact, and how that's going to impact the bricks and mortar of building. So most of them were not looking at making major renovations or improvements right now.
In addition to that study, the Commission completed a regional market study that revealed the need for another 2.9 million square feet of commercial space in the coming 2 decades.
So getting that 2.9 million in the right place is an important regional priority. And the place where a lot of that activity could happen without a lot of heavy lifting is the area that a lot of that activity already exists. So better design, more density, maybe 2-floor construction, structured parking. Those are the kind of things and improvements that we would be trying to encourage and looking for in that area.
Leading off the orders of the day, Barnstable Police Community Impact Unit Officer Jennifer Parkasellis addressed the council with a grant request.
As you know, the LaRusso Foundation contributed $50,000 towards this initiative. The grant monies will be used as follows. The first stage is to send the 3 officers in the Community Impact Unit to a 40-hour mental health first aid training in Nashville, Tennessee. We completed that a couple of weeks ago. Despite some weather problems, we ended up having a great week. It was a great training, and we're now certified to teach other officers in the department an 8-hour mental health first aid course, which we'll start doing hopefully in the spring. Another phase of the grant is to send 6 officers to Community Crisis Intervention Team training in Taunton. That's another 40-hour program. We are in the process of hiring a part-time behavioral health clinician to work in collaboration with the Community Impact Unit. That will include ride-alongs, outreach work, participation in the jail diversion program, and participation in the Community Crisis Intervention Team. And we are reviewing those applications now and hope to have interviews next week. And lastly, we have formalized a Community Crisis Intervention Team. We are in the early stages, but it's very exciting work. We're working as a team to divert individuals away from the criminal justice system and towards appropriate care and support. This is for people that are in mental health crisis. We've formed very strong working relationships with the Department of Mental Health, VinFin, Duffy Healthcare, the Housing Assistance Corporation, Cape Cod Hospital, Cape Cod Psych Center, the Barnstable District Court Probation Department, and the DA's office.
Barnstable Municipal Airport Manager Bud Brialt made a number of grant assurance requests, including one for the replacement of airfield guidance signs.
This was a mandatory airfield guidance signs. This project was for the replacement and installation of 17 new LED mandatory airfield guidance signs. This project was completed in December of 2014 and was included with another ongoing construction project at the airport, which was Taxiway Alpha, which we completed in November. The Taxiway Alpha construction project and this project have allowed the airport to start replacing all eligible airfield lighting with LED lighting to reduce our electrical costs and increase the lifetime of our lights. And by the way, they're also a little bit brighter.
Director of Public Works Dan Santos reviewed a request for funding for a cleanup project at the Highway Yard.
Last summer, over at the highway yard, we were excavating a trench to put some new electrical service to our salt barn, and the staff there noticed some heavy fuel odor. And at that point, they had contacted me, and we determined that this certainly was not a normal situation. And we decided to shut that operation down, cover the area up, and get an environmental consulting firm involved to determine what the odor was. And after going through that effort, it was determined that not only was there fuel contaminated soil present, but they also found an abandoned underground storage tank that we weren't aware of at that location. And after doing the analysis on that, it was determined that, fortunately, the tank was empty and the source of the fuel wasn't the tank, but they couldn't determine what the source was. But at some point in the past, fuel had probably been spilled at that location. And so we undertook a removal operation to remediate this contaminated soil. And last November, we removed 90 tons of contaminated soil, which went off to a facility, which basically puts it in a asphalt batch plant. They reuse it. It had the levels of contamination in it were low enough that that could be used in that operation, which they do in the facility in South Dennis. And the site was determined clean in accordance with all the DEP regulations and put back to its natural state, and we continued on with our work. This request is to transfer $25,000 from potential or identified personnel savings for this fiscal year. We did this work. We used money from other budget line items. We borrowed it effectively, and this request is to transfer the funds from, which will be available from personnel savings, to replace the money that we used, which is for other line items.
Council Thursday night also gave the nod to a $3,500 grant from the Cape Cod Healthcare Foundation and the Cape and Islands District Attorney's Office to fund the 7th grade youth summit. They accepted a $234,000 gift from Highline Cruises for the construction of a Hyannis Harbor boat pump-out facility and approved a zoning change along Route 132. You can watch the entire meeting online at town.barnstable.ma.us. Be sure to tune in to our Monday morning Barnstable This Morning. We'll be joined by Town Manager Tom Lynch. We'll visit with the Executive Director of the Clams Library System and talk with Michael Gross of Cape Cod Community College. Barnstable This Morning on Monday morning at 7 a.m. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.